They obviously have records of his flight.
Sure.
They know who was on board at the time. So they're trying to get those folks out of the water.
And you know, it's really, the wind and the water can either work with you or work against you. Topper, I know that you can tell us a bit more about what's happening with the wind and more importantly, what's happening with the water as rescuers are trying to get to people.
Yeah, we are looking at, well, this is the latest winds in terms of how strong the winds have been blowing over the past, say, 45 minutes. Remember, we had a wind advisory in effect. It's no longer in effect. So we have wind gusts of 26 downtown. That's at the airport. Higher winds north and west. So, I mean, it's possible we had a higher wind gust at that particular time. You know, hard to tell. But the wind advisory was out, and our strong 40, 50-mile-per-hour winds were a thing of the past. The river is cold. Potomac River running about 42.4 degrees. So this is the area that we're concerned about. And yes, water temperature will work against you. I mean, those guys have, you know, wetsuits and stuff, but the passengers that need to be rescued probably only have about 30 to 40 minutes with a water temperature of 42 degrees. So not good news. Better than it was the last time we had the car go over the Memorial Bridge when temperatures were the water temperatures were actually the same, but it was snowing. And the winds were just as strong. So a little bit better, I guess, scenario for them to rescue tonight with clear skies, winds dying down, but the water temperature, that's just not going to change, 42, and that will work against them, guys.
Some additional information. You know the Potomac River quite well, and you know the topography around that area. This is not easy stuff to get around.
No, I mean, you know, Matt's sort of laid it out. They are having three sort of areas to stage this rescue, and you know, once they get the boats on the river, it'll be pretty quick, but it's dark, so they have to find everybody and find exactly where the two collided. I mean, in my mind, I'm kind of wondering what the helicopter was doing in that airspace in the first place. And it is possible if you're flying a helicopter, you get a little gust of wind, it could have caused a problem. That's the only thing I can think of because the skies are clear, and you know it's not that bad. The winds have died down, but there could have been a gust of 30, let's say, just before the point of you know, of connection with the plane. So yeah, this is the area, and you know, they'll get down there quickly. You saw how fast they got down to meet the truck that went over the Memorial Bridge. So they're quick. They practice this sort of thing, but the water temperature is going to work against not so much the rescue folks, the first responders, but the folks that may still be, you know, in the river. They just don't have that much time before hypothermia sets in.
Gosh,
Yeah.
Topper, the reality of this is sinking in with every moment that passes by. What we know here is the FAA has confirmed some sort of midair collision occurred on approach to Reagan National Airport. So this flight coming from Wichita somehow collides with a helicopter as it was trying to land at Reagan National Airport. It sounds like what you said is that the winds may not have really played a factor in what happened here.
I mean, it could have, but it probably didn't. Again, helicopters are a lot harder to fly than planes.
Right.
So if they get a gust of wind and they don't correct right away, it's possible. But my real question is, how is a helicopter in this space? Like,
well, you say, how is it in that space?
Yeah, how is it in that airspace?
So Joint Base Anacostia Bowling is to the east of Reagan National, so it's right across the river.
So it was a military helicopter.
So presumably. At this point, that's typically the type of aircraft you see in that area. It can be, you can have commercial jets going in and out of Reagan, but you also have those military helicopters flying over the district at all hours.
That's right, and we don't know if in some way they were doing some sort of training exercise or they were doing some sort of, they were carrying out a mission when this happened. We just don't know. What we know is that this was a 60-passenger plane carrying, and we don't know if it was a full 60-passenger plane. We just know about the capacity of this small aircraft. Let's go back out, I think, if we can show you some video. If you're just joining us, we have been sharing the tragic news about a small plane crash that happened on approach to Reagan National Airport.
Yeah, this is EarthCam video we got a short time ago from near the Kennedy Center, and you're going to see that huge explosion there. Again, from what we're learning, this passenger plane, it was coming in for landing at Reagan National when, it collided with a helicopter right there near the airport.
So